Hello students, hope you all are fine and healthy. Now today we will be starting a new chapter, that is India's foreign policy. Now inside Indian foreign policy, the first topic that comes inside your syllabus, that is the non-alignment movement. Before going into the chapter, first we need to know a little bit about what is non-alignment movement. Now after the independence of India, our first Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru coined the term of non-alignment movement and came up with a new plan. We must say it is a foreign policy which had both political and economic aspects. Now, what is non-alignment movement? Non-alignment movement, from the name only you can have an idea. Alignment means going into a particular group, making a group or friendship. Now, you have already studied in class 10 that after the Second World War, the Cold War had started. What is Cold War? No, after the Second World War, the United States of America in the Western War and Soviet Russia in the eastern part of the world created two major power blocks, and they were inviting, some cases pressurefully by giving pressure, or in some cases only by inviting the other little countries to join them. Thus, a bipolarization of world had already taken place in the early 50s. India had just got their independence in 1947. So Nehru realized to go into a particular power bloc is nothing but inviting the Cold War into India, which had already served as a colony of Britain for near about 200 years. Not only that, India needed to perform a cordial relationship between both USA and USSR so that not only they remain safe from the grasp of Cold War, but also whenever they need help, they can urge to any of them or both of them in some cases. Since India had not joined any of the power bloc, so it was expected that both the power bloc or both the head of the power blocks, that is United States and Soviet Russia, will be lenient, will be liberal towards India. That is the background of non-alignment movements launched. But India did not alone launch non-alignment movement. We'll be coming later. First, understand the background. As soon as India became independent, there were several problems arise. First, Indo-Pak War. There were three wars: 1947, 56, 66, 65, and 71. Besides that, the relationship with China and India from the birth of India, from the point of time of the birth of India, was not very good, because the border line between India and China was not finalized and British left the country. That's why, so that any kind of problem and tension doesn't arise in future, or I must say near future, Jawaharlal Nehru and China, I must say, India and China both jointly signed a treaty of mutual relationship. There were 5 clauses which were collectively known as Punch C. Now what were the 5 clauses? Look at them. Mutual respect for each other. Means none of the country will be attacking the other. Whatever they have, they will be satisfied with that. They will be respecting each other's boundary and their ideologies. Number 2, non-aggression. That is quite related with the first one. They will not be attacking each other when and there. There should be a friendly relationship between India and China, since both of them are the neighboring country and India had just become independent. Third one, non-interference. They signed on a treaty that both the country will not interfere in the internal matters of each other. The internal matters will remain solely under the control of that particular country. That is none of the business of either China or India. Next one, equality and mutual benefit. They will be working shoulder to shoulder. They will be helping each other. There should be an equal balance. Equality in the fields of trading, in the fields of economy, overall economy, and foreign policies, and mutual mutual benefits. The way they will be dealing with each other, that would help them both to grow up, not to go down or diminish. And the last one is peaceful coexistence. They will be keeping it in mind that both the country need to grow up peacefully and remain in a friendly situation. So these tendency was already there, because in 1954 one seal was signed, and in 1955 in Bandung, the President of Indonesia, Sukarno, invited 28 other countries, including Indonesia. It was 29. And they started discussion about the future of the newly independent country of Asia and Africa, as well as in Latin America, because the decolonization was taking place at that point of time. Decolonization means since UN has already established, UN started pressurizing the big countries that to become a member of UN, you first need to release all your colonies. Then only you can be a responsible member and a powerful member, an important member of UN. And to become an important and powerful member of UN was far more relevant at that point of time than carrying or maintaining colonies, because huge amount of money needed to be spent to maintain this colony. And after Second World War, it was becoming impossible to maintain them. So a bunch of new independent countries were there. What will be their future? How they will run forward? To discuss about all this matter, Bandung Conference was held, and there only all these countries leaded, mostly 4 members were there, which were Sukarno of Indonesia, Marshal Tito of Yugoslavia, Abdel Gamal Nasser of Egypt, and Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru of India came into a point from where the non-alignment movement's draft came out. What were the major reasons? If we pointed out, first point I have already discussed, to avoid Cold War. Second point, need for economic development. Since they have just become independent, they needed huge money. They have been thoroughly exploited, extorted by the colonizers. They have nothing left. They had to start from the zero. That's why they needed to be economically developed. So they needed the help of both the superpower. That's why it was important to maintain a cordial relationship and stay out of the Cold War politics. Number 3, need for peace. That is also, I have already discussed, that they have experienced all the bad aspects of becoming a colony, to remain as a colony for 200 years. If not 200 for every country, some remain more than 200, some lesser than 200. But all of them have served as a colonized country for several years. So they all knew what is the value of peace. That's why they came into a point that they realized they needed to stay in a friendly atmosphere by staying shoulder to shoulder, fight against any kind of unrestful situations. Next, the objectives. The objectives of NAM. Since after Bandung Conference, the Belgrade Conference took place, where officially NAM was introduced to the world, led by the four officials. I have just told you the name, again I am repeating. Jawaharlal Nehru of India, President Sukarno of Indonesia, Moscow Tito of Yugoslavia. There was Kwame Nkrumah of Ghana, but his name was not that much highlighted. Instead, Egypt's Abdel Gamal Nasser came up. So the objectives of men were abolition of imperialism and capitalism. These little countries, from the very beginning of their birth, were the supporters, the wholehearted supporters of UN. And UN was strictly opposing imperialism. And what about capitalism? India and some other country realized, since the country is very much poor, so if from the very beginning they encourage capitalism, then the rich will become more richer and the poor will go down. So they needed to balance the economy so that the difference of income or difference of financial status between the richer people and poorer people stay low, stay less. The difference should stay in a lesser way. So that's why in initial stages they opposed to capitalism. Second, maintain internal peace. Not only the international peace, but also the member country of NAM paid emphasis on their internal peace. Because whenever your internal peace will be strong, will be in a stable way, automatically you will be becoming a stronger country, a developed country. Because then you can put your mind, then you can think about the international relation. When your internal policies and politics are so much of disturbances, then you cannot concentrate on the development. You have to stop them. So the NAM member country paid a serious attention to maintain the internal peace. Number 3, disarmament. It was a strict message of UN that you should not make any arms further, especially to the big countries like USA, France, Britain, Russia, because the fatality of nuclear war had already been experienced by the world. So, by supporting UN, by going with UN, these member countries of NAM went against disarmament. Second last point, the new international economic order. The NAM member country realized that the economic order of the countries at that point of time all over the world was not very neutral. It was biased. It was supporting, it was facilitating the powerful countries. It was not taking care of the newly coined word, that is third world, just became independent. The group of countries which had just become independent, whose economy is not that much stable. World economy should pay attention first to this type of countries, then to the already developed one. Instead of that, all center of attraction was there towards the developed countries. That's why they aimed to create a new economic order, rather international economic order, which will be based on a stability, a kind of equality also. And last point, enforcement of human rights. It is also a major objective of UN, protecting human rights, cancelling any chance of war further, because a huge number of people had already died in the 2 world wars. Several little wars had taken place in the decades after decades throughout the Europe and the world. Not only the war, but also in terms of making colony, the big powerful countries had killed innumerable amount of people in those countries, like especially in Asia, Africa and Latin America. So, enforcement of human rights, giving rights to the people, their fundamental rights, was one of the main aims of non-alignment movement. Today, up to this much. Next class we will be discussing about the relation of or the role of NAM, non-alignment movement, during the Cold War situation. Stay safe, stay healthy, wear mask, study in English, converse in English, talk, speak with your parents, with your peers in English, study good magazine, good newspapers. It will not only help your vocabulary but also in your future. May God bless you.